Hi everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be looking at being inspired by pop culture. For any of you who don't know, I'm a major Marvel nerd. I love them all so much. All TV shows, all the movies. It's quite cathartic, and quite often when I am creating, that's actually what I'm watching in the background. So I like watching things over and over again. I've watched Endgame and Infinity Wars numerous times while I've been creating, so it's been fun. But I came across this image from ScrapFX, and as soon as I did it, I just started watching She-Hulk, and just something about the way she's standing just reminded me of the character in She-Hulk, which is really funny. It's a good one. Even if you're not necessarily a superhero comic nerd, that one's actually quite amusing. So that's what I decided to do, channel my inner Hulk. So I overlaid some text in the background, and then this beautiful image. I think it's drawn by the very talented Michelle Logan, and it's got some gorgeous sort of features and collage on the body, but it comes in a color printed version as well as black and white. But I chose black and white because I wanted to do this. So I broke out my greens, and the thing I loved about this sort of black and white or grayscale version is you've got a really great idea of where the shadows are supposed to be in it, so you can get a really great shaded image. So by layering up, I've started with my lightest color first, and then I'm layering up into my darker colors. And I actually ended up getting a pretty reasonable shaded figure that I probably couldn't have got without the help of that model underneath. Again, I'm not using very much paint at all. It is very, very little amount. I tend to be really light with the amount of paint I use, so I can see what's going on underneath. It's basically like layers of glaze over the top, if you think about it that way. So you can sort of still see those lines and those shadings happening underneath where you're working. It also means your image dries really, really quickly, which I like as well. So once I sort of finished playing around with her, then I decided to go back in and put some colour in her dress as well. Again, different shades of green, using what I've got in the background. And I'm just using the patterns that are on the dress. So Michelle's done some gorgeous little details, and it's just really, really easy to colour in, which I really liked. So thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Jill from ScrapFX, for creating such wonderful images to play with. I know a lot of people on my channel have sort of asked where to get ScrapFX images or tissue papers. It is a wholesale retailer, so if you do have your own scrapbook shop or art shop, you can contact Jill directly at ScrapFX. Otherwise, I would suggest if you're a sort of Australian, New Zealander, and I'm pretty sure Natalie actually sends overseas as well, you can go to nataliemay.com. If you're from the UK, I know the lovely Claire Stead is a distributor for ScrapFX, so she's got a lot of the new designs too, as well as being part of the design team. So check out my description box below, and you can check that out. So not a paid advertisement, but every time I put something up from ScrapFX that I use, I get questions on where'd you get these from. So that's where that's coming from. You will notice with all figures will look really alien-esque until you put the eyes in. I tend to do it last. If you really struggle with drawing something that looks very alien, put them in first. Then I'm going in with my white paint pen and just adding in a little bit more of that detail again that Michelle had drawn in. So I'm not coming up with these designs of my own, I'm using what's there, I'm just drawing over the top. So for those of you who really struggle with doodling, it's nice to have that model underneath that you can use to help you out. I've also used the Stabilo Oil pencil to go around my image and to draw through her hair. Just to give a little bit of depth to it, because one of the things about the show is she does, when she transforms, gets this beautiful luminous black hair. which I will fix in a minute by putting some water in. Currently, as you're staring at my page, I'm actually looking up a quote to put on the page, which I thought it'd be easy to get a quote from, Marvel somewhere, but I couldn't really find one. So I went to Pinterest, which is my usual go-to for looking up quotes, and looked up, I think, superhero quotes or hero quotes, and found this one. I decided to keep with the green theme, so I'm going in my green pen to write my quote. Once I've written it out and sort of worked out the spacing, then I go back in and thicken up all my lines so it sort of looks like it's deliberately put in there and been planned out so it fits in perfectly. Those people who follow my channel know that that is never the case, and it's always just pure good luck that it actually fits in the end. So take a chance, have a go. It'll work out. So being a superhero is all trial by fire, which I quite liked. When I do a quote like this, if I did run out of space, or if I wasn't sure, I would write through her hair. I would write over the image, because I'm quite often in things like this, it is actually the quote that tends to be what I want to focus on more than the image, even though in this case, the image is quite important. I am also going in with my black pen to put in my drop shadows. I have no idea why I started at the bottom. Weird, because I'm very likely to put my hand in it as I get across here like this. Use common sense, don't do what I'm doing. Start from the top, or at least put a piece of paper down so you don't drag your hand through it. But I managed to avoid it, obviously. Then I'm going back in and just fixing up the eyes a little bit. I did put gold in her eyes as well, just to get that little bit of sparkle. And I did decide to pop some gold ink, or that's gloss medium, over the top, just to give, again, a little bit of sparkle and bling to the page. Then I just added in a little bit of not green, because everything's green, a little bit of red to finish off my picture of it. So in the close-up you can see all the details with a little bit of gold and the line work from the white pen, and how sort of it went over the top. I did go back in and ink the hair with the Stabilo Oil pencil and put a little bit of white in too, just to make it a little bit more obvious than I did in the original picture. So once you've finished doesn't necessarily mean you've finished. When you go back and look at it the next day, you might think, oh, I just need to add a little bit in. So don't be afraid to do that in the end. So I hope you check out She-Hulk. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Until next time, bye for now.